Hi! In this video, we are going to take a look at prospect theory and explain the psychological mechanisms that prevent you from winning at investing. Have you ever invested before? Prospect theory is a popular debate topic in investment circles, but it's not related only to investing sphere, it's also used in real life. By watching this video, you will learn the structure of prospect theory in a nutshell. So stay with us until the end to find how to take your behavior one step further than just following the flow of your mind. But before getting started, come and check our latest video posts on this channel. We are constantly uploading videos about life management, financial management, career plan, communication, and many other aspects. Find new opportunities to grow in your professional career and develop your daily life with us. Now let's move on. I'd like to begin by addressing two questions. Each has two choices, so please think about them. Question number 1. Please choose one of the following two options. A. You can get $10,000 guaranteed, or B. If you toss a coin and if it comes up, you get $20,000. What do you think of these two choices? Which one would you choose? By the way, the expected amount of money you will get is the same in both cases. $10,000. Did you know that most people will choose option A because it's a more realistic opportunity? In other words, in situations where profit is possible, people tend to choose the sure thing option. So far, so good. But let's move on to the next question. Let's assume that you have a debt of $20,000. Question number 2. Please choose one of the following options. A. You can undoubtedly reduce your debt by $10,000, leaving you with the remaining $10,000. B. You can toss a coin and if it comes up heads, your debt will be cleared. This question shows how many people who gave a solid answer to the previous question will choose B this time. Again, if you think about it dispassionately, the expected value is the same for both options, A and B. Minus $10,000. If we look at the trend of the answers to the previous question, we would expect people to choose A, which is half the amount, but a solid way to reduce their debt. But many people choose B, which is more of a gamble. This hypothesis that can be drawn from these two questions is that the idea of profit and loss is different when you are in a position of making a profit versus when you already suffered a loss. In other words, when you are about to make a profit, we will avoid the risk of missing it. But when we are in a position of losing money, we will take the risk to make up the entire loss. This is called the loss aversion bias. To discuss loss aversion bias in more depth, here is a graph of an important function. It's called the value function. On this graph, the vertical axis represents psychological value. That means the higher the value, the happier and more joyful we feel, and the lower the value, the sadder and grieved we are perceived. The horizontal axis shows profit and loss. The farther to the right, the greater the profit, and the farther to the left, the greater the loss. If you look at the graph, you can see that your psychological value slowly increases when you make a profit. When you suffer a loss, your psychological value immediately decreases. You can see that the psychological value of the same amount of gain or loss is different. This is the reason why individual investors who manage their own money repeatedly win small and lose largely. If we now look at the case of large gains and losses, we can see that the value function has a property called diminishing sensitivity. In this graph, the larger the amount of money, the more accustomed we become to accounting for profit and loss. To make this theory easier to understand, let's use the example of gambling. In the beginning, you play solid games with small amounts and low multipliers. But as the losses mount, we start to gamble with higher risk and higher multiples, hoping for a reversal. We become accustomed to both losses and gains, for better or worse, and the gambler's sense of loss is more numb than it was at first. I would like to explain that even if you do not gamble, this prospect theory has an impact on your professional and private life. It is often used in the marketing field. The following examples are essential for anyone working in this field, but they are also worth knowing to anyone who is a buyer. In marketing, we often use the human instinct to avoid losses, as explained in prospect theory. This is called fear appeal or scarcity appeal. The fear appeal is meant to bring the following message: if you let this go, the worst will happen. The scarcity appeal will say how many are available, how many are left, and some websites will even count down the days, hours, and seconds until the campaign ends. When you see one of these offers, don't be in a hurry, but remember this theory and decide if you need it before making a decision: to buy, to hold on, or don't buy it at all. Another technique used in the marketing arena is called risk reversal, and it means that the seller takes on the buyer's risk. This can be done by saying returns are welcome, or by offering a free trial for a certain period. Many people buy products they don't need just because they are postponing their decision-making. Therefore, it's important to know and understand this theory and not neglect decisiveness. Here I would like to wrap up today's topic. So that is what we've covered today. Firstly, people think differently about gaining and losing when they are about to make a profit versus when they have already suffered a loss. Secondly, the power of psychological value causes individual investors to have small wins and large losses repeatedly. Finally, prospect theory is widely used not only in investment, but also in marketing techniques such as fear appeal and scarcity appeal. As you can see, the applicability of prospect theory is all the way around. You can apply it in your relationships, or you can use it to see through clever marketing strategies and act rationally. Don't be fooled by psychological tricks, but rather be on the side of those who apply them in everyday business. This concludes my explanation of today's subject. Thanks for watching. We hope you gained useful insights from this video. For more subjects about career plan, check below the description box. Like, comment and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one.